Thank you. We just wanted to welcome you here today to our ePortfolio Showcase. I think there's a little hint of spring in the air, and it's Friday, so that's always a good thing. But we're very proud to have this showcase because it really talks about our students, and it gives us the opportunity to see how wonderful our students are, the kinds of things that they're doing, which is great for them, but also it's great for us at Queensborough to show off the work that they're doing and completing. And also it's been very interesting in terms of their moving into the world in terms of jobs. I was at a meeting the other day where one of the nurse educators was talking about a student's ePortfolio and saying how phenomenal it was and how captivating it was. And she felt so connected to this person by seeing that. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to kind of toot your own horn, and you certainly deserve to do that. This doesn't happen, of course, with the help of a lot of people, and this is coming out of our the FIPSI grant, which is Making Connections, the ePortfolio grant, and we've been in partnership with the LaGuardia folks, so that's been wonderful, and we thank them. We also thank Dr. Bill Ebenstein, who is our University Dean of Health and Sciences, who's been a wonderful supporter of nursing always, and particularly with this grant. We also want to acknowledge Bruce Naples, who's always a great friend to the nursing department and helps us, Joe Pantaleo from Basic Skills, our colleagues in the Freshman Academy, Gail and Joy, and also Dr. Dean Marchese. So things don't happen here in isolation. It really takes a number of people, and I thank you. But again, we're really here to honor the students. And the people most involved in helping the students, of course, are our faculty. Dr. Patricia Burke, who's been amazing with this ePortfolio.
I'll check my eye, okay?
Yeah. And Dr. Burke got her doctorate this semester, so I think we should congratulate her a second time. Professor Georgina Colillo, who couldn't be with us because she's in the clinical, working hard with our students. And also the director of our nursing resource, Barbara Caravanos, who's amazing. Poor Barbara, when she sees me coming, I have a zillion questions, and Barbara always gets me straightened out, and is such a wonderful resource for our department. I would like at this time to bring Dr. Burke up to acknowledge some of the students, and again, I congratulate you all, and I look forward to hearing and seeing more of your work. Thank you.
Well, first, before we actually get into the awards, I wanted to pull up and ask somebody to come up. And truly, Christine Porter, as the SNA president, what was it, 2 semesters ago? She really spearheaded. What she did was, through the SNA and working with ACC, she sponsored a workshop. Now, what I want you to take home today is that this is not embedded in the coursework. This is all extra that the students did above and beyond the papers, the clinical, the care plans. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But truly, it's a lot of work. So Christine, could you please come up? Christine also had a little workshop with the next graduating class, and she's going to be hosting another workshop with our graduating class because she actually used her ePortfolio. I'm going to have her tell a little bit about that story, about how she got to her ePortfolio and how she used it to actually get a job and her experiences, because she is so into this ePortfolio. And she has promised, right? Now I have this on tape. She has promised to help me with my ePortfolio. Okay, so just have a quick break.
Hello, everyone. The ePortfolio program, actually, it was presented to us by Dr. Burke, and there wasn't a lot of interest in it initially, but I knew as an associate degree nurse that it was going to be a difficult market to become employed in. So I wanted to sell myself in the most incredible way that I possibly could, and I created my ePortfolio. I like using the computer. I like creating little videos. I like selling things for myself. So I created this, and I do have to say that I was initially shocked on the response that I received, because some of the HR reps that I had spoken to really were quite interested, and they hadn't encountered this type of program before. So I'm very proud of Queensborough because this is my home and this is where I got my start, and it taught. I was taught how to be a great nurse here, so I really owe a lot of my beginnings to Queensborough, and I wanted to sell that also with my page because I'm very proud to be a Queensborough nurse. And so I created my page, and I am now employed in a very prestigious position in a neonatal intensive care unit where I am the only associate degree nurse that was hired in this current orientation group. Professor Menendez and Professor Burke were definitely interested, and all of my professors, but these two primarily I worked hand in hand with. They were very instrumental in my beginnings, so thank you.
And we also have just a little prize, okay, because as a mentor of one of the winning e-portfolios, okay, so that's, you didn't get that just because of your e-portfolio, because of your mentoring.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So now I'm going to start with 4th place and work up to 1st place. Okay, you have a brochure on your table, so it has all the names. And first, I would like to call up Christine Chang. So it's, what was 4th prize? Oh, it's the yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you want to say a few words? You're speechless?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to
speechless at this.
I'm just going to tell you guys that Christine is also involved in our Prescription for Success grant as we go forth, and she's going to work with our nursing students on writing skills. And she also works with Joe, and she also tutors.
Yeah, I love.
So she's very, very busy, okay? But we're still getting her to come back and do workshops with our students. Okay, thank you. Okay, in 3rd place, we're going to have a virtual presentation, and I don't have her e-portfolio because we had a little technical glitch. It wouldn't be normal without it, right? But in 3rd place is Harmanpreet Kaur Beauparis. So to virtually accept her award is going to be Professor Malloy.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
It's a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work. And Harman is doing her ACLS, which is the Advanced Life Support. So she's moving along, and I think she just got accepted for a position at Jamaica, which is, so our students are really rocking. Okay. In 2nd place, it gives me great pleasure for Amanda Thinnison to come up. Okay. Thank you. And this, good. And Amanda, did you want to say something?
I just want to say thank you to my mentor, Christine, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have got so involved. She helped me to create, and I further developed my page, and I also had success in the job place. I did tell them to check out my e-portfolio, and I was emailing her, and I finally linked this in the email, and I got a call like 3 hours later, and I'm working in the cardiothoracic ICU, so we must have done something.
Okay. Well, the cardiothoracic ICU is not easy to get into. It's a fellowship, right? It's not just a job. It's a fellowship program, and it's really tough to get into that market. Amanda is also going to be one of our graduates who's going to come back and host e-portfolio workshops. But of course, with her new job, we have to arrange her graduate schedule.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, and then the 1st place prize winner is Sarita Sachdev. And those of you who don't know, does everybody know what the 1st place was? An iPad, right? Okay, and I just want to say a few words about the judge. who had, we sent all the e-portfolios out both to a technical person and also to a nursing person, either in a 4-year college or out in the hospital environment. And I have to tell you that Meg Salenza was the judge from Winthrop Hospital, and she just could not stop talking about her experience when she saw your e-portfolio. And I think Professor Menendez said it exactly. It makes that connection. And our original grant was making connections. But when you look at somebody's e-portfolio, it's so much more visual than just a resume. And it can tell us the strength and the wealth of experience that you get in an associate degree program. So it makes you stand out. All right? And we talked yesterday about sending it off for jobs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, did you get your picture taken?
Yeah.
You did. You want to say a few words?
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to start off by saying thank you. I'm so honored to receive first place. Also, I was so excited to find a new way to express myself on ePortfolio. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I will be using this in the job market, as I spoke with Professor Burke earlier. So thank you very much.
Okay, now we had such strong competition with the ePortfolio, and we had opened it up both to our 202 class in fall 2010 and our 201. And the reason why we did that was because those were the only 2 classes who did not have ePortfolio as part of their coursework. I have to tell you that I'll get to the present 202 group because they're all at LaGuardia presenting their ePortfolios. Right? And we decided to throw them out of the competition because otherwise we never would have been able to make a decision on who would have won. So now Konstantin Cheka is one of our graduates, and if you would like to step forward, this is her e-portfolio. And she has honorable mention. Literally at the end, there was just a couple of points with all of the winners. So look at this one. Thank you. And the next is going to be an honorable, virtual honorable achievement award. So Professor Malloy, could you? Virtual honorable mention. All right, and this has to be Professor Malloy, because Professor Malloy was Dave Dela Cruz's instructor in 201 last semester. Okay. 2 semesters ago, right?
3 semesters.
Yeah, do you want to say a little bit about that?
Dave was a wonderful student in every way. Enthusiastic, a patient advocate. I had to pull Dave into pre-conference. He never wanted to leave his patients. He was delightful, and he's going to make an absolute asset to the healthcare system.
Professor Malloy, don't sit down because you've got 3 more virtuals. Again, we were trying to Skype. I told you that we have 3 members of the 202, the now graduating class at LaGuardia. They're presenting their e-portfolios there with Gail Pattison from Academy of Health Sciences, and she's keeping them all intact and making sure they don't take over because our students like to talk a lot, right? Yeah. Right? Okay, so the first is George Fontanilla. We can get that when they get back.
Yeah.
We can't give them the prizes virtually, but we'll give them when they get back. We had tried to Skype, and it's not a problem on our end, but it is a problem on LaGuardia's end. So they have brought a laptop, but they can't get through the network. But that would have been cool if we could have Skyped them in and read their names off. Yeah. Kate O'Connell. Who is the president of SNA presently, and she's also over at LaGuardia. Samin Hekmati. And of the 3 e-portfolios that are being presented at LaGuardia today, Zameen was also chosen to be in a fishbowl looking at transfer to a 4-year college. And she goes, well, what does that mean? So they're going to be in for a pleasant surprise, because when I asked her how many credits she had to date, I got like a 2-hour dissertation on all the different courses that she had taken at Queen's College. So I just said to her, I said, you know what, I hope they give you enough time to talk when you get to And I see Kathy Capagrosso Brown here. Take a picture. And can I tell a funny story?
Is it a good story?
Without you saying that you didn't submit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Surprise.
Kathy was very funny, because when we had the e-portfolio contest, I said to her, all you have to do is open an account and submit it. And that's exactly what she did. And then she was like, well, I won't be at the awards. And I'm like, you opened an account and you submitted. That's the first step. The other thing is that a lot of us know, but those of you who don't, Kathy is a double major. And when I found that out, I was like, whoa. Not only is she a double major, but when I had her in my lecture class, she pointed out an error in the textbook that I hadn't even picked up. And first of all, when I got the email from Kathy, I was like, ooh, yeah, well, these students, like, they just can't get it. It's the position of the baby in utero. And I'm like, oh, she just doesn't get it. When I looked at the picture, I said, you know what? She's absolutely right. It was transcribed. So we notified the editor, and you have a letter, right, from the editor? So you have to put that up on your e-portfolio. We have a scanner. Don't we have a scanner? It works, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we have a scanner in the Computer Resource Center, so you've no excuse now. We have it on camera, you've been told. And last but not least, our judges. And we only have 2 of our judges here today. And now, I have to find the, I'm going to call out all of the judges' names first, and then I'm going to ask Carol Thomas to get up and say a few words about what it was like to, as a nurse, to evaluate the portfolio. But first, Dennis Behar. Okay, Dennis is from ACC, and he looked at it from a technical aspect, and truly, he evaluated all of the e-portfolio, so I think he deserves a special round of applause. So I'm just going to read the names and the institutions. Teresa Smith, who's associated with the Empire State University, which is a SUNY online. Joan Kearney from Columbia University. Patricia Fake from Adelphi University. Margaret Salenza from Winthrop University Hospital. Anne Langan from North Shore University Hospital in Manhasset. And then we have 3 people from York. York were very involved in evaluating the e-portfolio. One person is still holding classes at York, and the other 2, I think, are part of a big ITNEP grant, so they're in the city, and a lot of our faculty are at that as well. So we have Suzanne Goldstein, Nadine Donahue, and Joanne Lavin from York. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to call up Carol Thomas from New York City College of Technology. And myself and Carol go back a long way. A long, long way. I'm going to get you to say a few words. She didn't know she was going to say a few words. But
Good morning, everyone. I'm a professor at New York City Technical College in OB. So I know Trisha for how many years? Dr. Burke?
Don't say how many, because then they'll know how old I am.
Well, you know, and of course she was my manager in OB. So when she, you know, asked me to be a judge for the portfolio, I said, okay, you know, first time, but okay. It was wonderful. I printed everything, I looked at everything, I examined everything, and to me, I felt, you know, I was part of the student. I was really part of him. So I said, I have to come today to be here. It is so impressive, and I am proud of all of you new nurses in your jobs and all the great things that you are doing. Today is extremely a great day. Every day that we are here, it's a great day. And thank you so much.
I just wanted to say another very special thanks both to Chris from Sponsor Programs. I always just call it grants, but I know it's Sponsor Programs. And also Laura Segura, who without her we would not have been able to purchase all the prizes, because truly it took emails, phone calls, walking over, and she helped me through the process, which took about a week to order all those prizes over the last months of December, because as everybody knows with grants you've got to get it in by a deadline, and we started ordering, I think it was on the 21st of December, and we needed to have it done by December 31st. And I just see somebody who's just walked in. Dean Steele, would you like to come up? There's somebody else who's also been very supportive of the ePortfolio grant and has signed off on anything that we just put. We do have to explain what it's for, but thank you if you'd like to say a few words.
Well, it's wonderful to see that ePortfolios have developed so richly, and it seems to me in a program like nursing, it's especially beneficial, and it's very helpful for other departments in curricula to see how you could use it, and how very related to the students' own growth, awareness, to development throughout a curriculum, and with an eye on where you're going after this, onto careers, onto a bachelor's degree, right?
Yes.
And that it just comes together so nicely. And we've had very strong ePortfolio work here at the college. Joe Pantaleo has been involved with it from the beginning. And it's so wonderful that we have Dennis here. You know, I'm just really thrilled with that. So thank you very much, and keep going.
And that concludes for today. So eat, drink, be merry, and.
So they asked us to come up and speak for a brief moment about our ePortfolio page and to demonstrate the page so that there's a greater understanding. I mentored several students with my particular page, and this is what you'll see when you log in. This is your home page. I, again, like technical things, so I included a video, which I'll go over in just a moment. And then kind of your first impression is a welcome page. This is what I explained about myself. Oh, a little loud, sorry. And just kind of saying where I came from. So this is just a personal statement of where I've been and where I plan on going. So it's a little long, but you can attach on your first page. Again, it's your first impression. Amanda and I were very lucky and very blessed that Queensborough selected us to represent the nursing department in Austria. So I wanted to demonstrate a part of my nursing school program as well as this trip. So this is just a brief snippet. You can add music. So this lasts for a little bit longer. So if you're interested, you can find it on the page. But what I did was I encompassed pictures from throughout the semester. I personally didn't take any pictures in the clinical setting because I felt that for me, this was a separate area. So as you'll see, it's outside of the clinical setting, which I recommend that nobody cross that barrier. HIPAA is a law that we all have to abide by, and Queensboro really respects patient privacy, so no photos in the clinical areas.
Thank you.
So, absolutely, respect your patients. So, nothing. No placentas, no posing with mannequins. I didn't find, it's a very respectful video because remember, your potential employers are going to be viewing this. And if you're a goof off and you're utilizing material in appropriate manners, they won't be quite so interested. So as you come through your resume, Queensboro teaches us how to write a proper resume. So I have mine listed. There's some technical issues, so Mr. Behar can always help you transfer that over. Showcase yourself. Showcase all of your awards, everything that you do. You can, and PDF format, so I can show you I was a member of Phi Theta Kappa. Open it, and voila, my certificate. Also,
Chris, can you do the service learning?
The service learning,
yeah.
Right here. You can briefly explain what your program is, what you've done, and voila, Queensboro. As I said, I'm very proud of Queensboro. And what we all worked so hard for, I cried when it came in the mail. Because they do want to see a copy of this. And also the nursing awards that we received here at Queensboro with Professor Menendez's beautiful signature. Oh, that's not mine. So anyway, so just definitely utilize that to reflect on everything that you've done. Over here, certifications, anything that you've become certified in. My registered nurse degree, my BLS, my now NRP, which is neonatal resuscitation. And what you can do also is upload your cards. It really is beneficial to your potential employer. Publications, we all have projects here at school that we have to work on. This is one of my favorites, as I truly do enjoy children. I created a trifold handout that you really could utilize in a pediatrician's office. So I listed that. Leadership and community service, everything that you've done. As SNA president, I created many flyers. I had a newsletter from the SNA and also some of our projects. I created these particular pages. Nursing philosophy, what nursing means to me particularly. And again, I'm very proud of Queensboro. So this explains my philosophy, so my potential employer can utilize that. Professional goals, what it is that I want to do, where I want to be, where I want to go from here. Nursing education, I found this actually to be very important because I want my employer to know what I learned, where I began. This is one of the textbooks that we utilized. This, as I quoted from Queensboro, this is their description of the program. And then this was just a little blurb about what I took from that semester. And I took the time to do it for each particular semester. I have many great memories, and many of them funny, but many very serious and stressful memories as well. And Professor Burke, Dr. Burke, I just want to say, I did my NICU rotation with her. And she had us write a paper when we completed that particular area. And I have to say, I can be very emotional, but I knew after that session with her and that I wanted to be where the babies were. And I'm now in the neonatal ICU, and the babies really are that tiny. So this is where I reflected upon that. And I did it with each semester again. So Definitely, again, I'm a Queensboro nurse, and I want anybody that I apply to see that I'm proud of where I began, because Queensboro really does have a great reputation. And being a part of the program, we also went to Lobby Day in Albany, and I highlighted some photos from that from our 203 class. You can make this as complex or as simple as you'd like, but it's most important, keep it professional. Make sure that you're taking those writing classes because you want to be articulate and you want to sound intelligent. Don't take photos that are inappropriate. Don't break HIPAA, and most of all, don't disappoint QCC with anything that's not professional. And I think I'm going to pass this over to Amanda so she can show you a bit of hers.
Okay, so this is my e-portfolio. You can link the link at the top of your resume, which I did. I'll show you in a minute, but I sort of did the same thing. Just a welcome note if anybody comes, you know, where I've come from. I wasn't born in New York. I was from Pennsylvania, so. And then where I ended up at Queensboro, and it just kind of gives you an overview of what kind of person whose portfolio you're looking at. After reading this, I feel like you can kind of know the kind of person that I am, or just get an idea, and then of course you can link as many pictures as you want, and videos and quick links. So this is my resume, and at the top I actually have the link. So when I'm handing out resumes or uploading, you know, they can see that and they can log on. Because sometimes a lot of things are done through the computer now, so you can't really speak to somebody and say, hey, check out my e-portfolio. You kind of have to put it out there yourself. I didn't do anything there. So I also made a video of just my nursing school journey, and I also have a bunch of awards that I also scanned. Let's see. And also any articles or publications that were done, you can also link them so that your future employer or anybody who wants to get to know you can log on. And this was about the study abroad experience. I know there was one here. Let's see. This one. Yeah, so in Queensboro's paper, if you scroll down, that was our experience. And so anytime you're published, you should definitely include that in your e-portfolio. Let's see. I won't show you my video. You want to see my video? Okay. All right. This video. She cried. That was one of my favorite songs. So if you ever meet anybody famous, this is Senator Stavitsky. We met her at Lobby Day. She's the chair of the Education Committee. I have a lot of pictures with Christine because we end up doing a lot of stuff together. This was also when we went to Austria. I'm going to stop it here. We actually we went to Dachau, and then we had come back. They had set something up for us to meet a Holocaust survivor. So this was a picture with him, and really you can just showcase where you've been and just different things about you and things that have impacted you. You can truly put them on this and really show where you come from. So, yeah.
Quick question. You guys have talked a little bit, a lot of you, about the how potential employers are taking a look at these, but how does that work usually? Like, what are you experiencing? Are they likely to go to it unless you talk to them about it?
No, I have to. I just want to say, only because I feel like I was one of the first semesters that started this. I knew that the market was going to be difficult. In our 203 class, which is now 204, Nursing 204, we're taught how to create this resume, and on the bottom of the resume is where my particular class, we were shown to put the link for your ePortfolio. A lot of the employers want you to submit your information electronically. They don't even want to take your phone calls because they're overwhelmed with the volume of applicants with all of the recent hospital closures and all of the graduates. I persisted on the telephone, but most importantly, I got a telephone call from one of the recruiters, and she said, you know, Mrs. Porter, Christine, what's this ePortfolio? I said, take a moment and look at it. It's just an electronic view of who I am as an individual. And I got a phone call 30 minutes later, and she said, that's amazing. I can't believe more students that are coming out of school aren't putting these on their pages, because it really does reflect who you are as a person. Because if you're getting 300 applicants for one position, and if you have 300 pages in front of you, I'm not going to stand out by just words alone. So I'm giving you something to look at. I met with the technical department, and we kind of went over a couple of different things, but I kind of figured the video process out myself. Everything is viral these days. Everybody likes a visual clip on YouTube and stuff like that. So I thought, how better to demonstrate where I came from, tastefully, respectfully, and so they can see who I am. I want them to see my face and say, you know what, she looks like someone that's going to be a good nurse in our system. Not only on paper, but okay, she's creative, she's articulate, and she looks like she does some really good things. So it was about selling yourself. So when she took a look at that, which having the ePortfolio also allows you to see who's accessing your page. So I have to say I completely monitored it, and I could see that North Shore LIJ, I could see the IP addresses of the people that were viewing my page. And I was like, okay, yes, she looked at that. Maybe I'll get a call within a week. And I really did, and that was one of the deciding factors on getting an interview. Just the interview with the recruiter, let alone an interview with the department. So once I got my foot in the door with the recruiter, I was good. I knew I could sell myself in person.
So do you feel like recruiters are more likely to look at it than individual hospital HR?
You have to usually go through recruiters first.
Oh.
Yes, what you do is you meet with the recruiter, and if they like you, then you get an individual departmental interview with that person. So it's kind of going through the front lines, and if you can blast your way through that, then you can sell yourself in person.
Okay.
And I as faculty also, because we meet pretty regularly with the nurse educators at these hospitals, we're sure to tell them about it, what our students are doing, so they're kind of on the lookout, they're hearing about it, so we all kind of market our students that way to make sure that the educators know, because they work very closely
with the recruiters, yeah. For me, it was a little different. It's not hard to figure out people's email addresses, especially recruiters. You can be a go-getter and call the hospital and say, and the emails are they're all the same. Mine's atennison@nshs.edu. You can figure it out. So I kind of figured it out. And I was like, I attached my resume, but I said, check out my ePortfolio. And that's how it worked out for me, because it is on the paper, but for them to go through and actually read the words, right. It's like, it's not, you have to make it stand out or bold it or something.
I also just want to add, a lot of the medical records in the hospitals are all going electronic. And I can tell you personally, a lot of the older nurses are struggling with the computerized programs. And one of the discussions I also had was, she said, you're really good with the computers. So they really want to know that you're going to be able to adapt as well electronically. I'm there, I've got it, show me what to do. So really it's about marketing yourself, making yourself, especially as an associate degree nurse. I'm proud to be an associate degree nurse, but I find that I'm going to fight twice as hard to get the same position as a baccalaureate nurse. And you know what, I'm just as good as they are because I had a great beginning.
And also, it's great to be visual. I could say, yeah, you know, I got the, you know, the Student Nurses Association Award or the Nursing Department Award, and it's just words. But when you actually like open it and you see like, oh, you know, you could see it. It's so much more to be visual than it is just to say it, you know. So.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
I just actually, I'm applying to RN BS programs, and in my application, I put a little index card saying check out my e-portfolio. So that's also for all of us graduates. Maybe that'll give you the little push to get in.
Constantine, did you see if they actually opened it up?
I haven't checked
Okay,
it.
we were trying to work with somebody from City Downstate, Harmony had sent off there, and I said, make sure they look at your e-portfolio.
That's exactly where I applied to. So.
All right, so we gotta go back and check if they opened it.
And also, it helps you to configure your thoughts for when you go for the interview with the recruiter. She wants to know what makes you different from the next person. And so I printed out the Queensborough Nursing logo and things like that because it's one thing. It's great to be visual. And I said, you know, I was instrumental in the procurement of this logo, and you know, and she knew all about Queensborough and things like that. So you definitely should bring visual things with you. I brought the originals of my awards, made copies. I brought things like. And I had it all over the table, and I was like, you know, these are the things I did. And she's like, well, I can't take them, but it's great to see that, you know, that's who you are. So
And this is where you can look at your visitors log. This is, I think, probably mostly students because I haven't applied for a job in a long time. But when North Shore LIJ selected it, it would say North Shore LIJ over here, Winthrop here. So you kind of know if recruiters are viewing your pages, so you can, you know, track it. And then this is just, you know, and ePortfolio honestly it's also more than just your ePortfolio, because I've had people from around the country emailing me saying, really great ePortfolio, how did you do that? And so I've actually been mentoring strangers on the net, which is fine, not a problem. So it really it's not just, it's, you know, it's a nationwide thing. So
and I also just did the same thing, put my reactions and outlined the courses. So, you know, if they want to see what we've learned, where we've come from, and to see that we are compatible with a bachelor's degree nurse, they could also see that through our ePortfolio. So that's it.
Thank you very much.